Hey guys, I'm not quite as gray as I look on screen, but it's pretty bad. But the outside makes it look way more gray than it does inside. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So here's my little pavilion, my seat over there and all my crap. But I kind of want to show you what what I've been doing outside. So here's kind of the view looking into my backyard now. This lettuce right here, I'm going to be growing jasmine on it. I already got it in the back. I just haven't had a chance to put it up. So that's going to be one of our goals for this year. Here's my morning glories. They haven't really done much, but there is some bit of green down in there. I got my sweet peas are growing right now and a few weeds I need to pick out. And then these are going to be raised so we can walk under it, and I'm going to have twinkle lights. So it'll be an extension of this area. We're going to do another row of the stones here. So it'll be more a part of this once it's done. And I've been pulling off all the extra seeds I get my hands on, handfuls at a time, and throwing them over the edge of my back fence. So they'll start growing out there and cling to the fence. Add more protection and stuff. So I haven't been watering the grass because it's all weeds and hitchhikers. So this year I'm not doing it. I just want to let it die, and then maybe in a year or two we can actually... That chicken just jumped up and tried to bite my shirt. Maybe in a couple years, once the weeds are dead, then we'll redo it and let the girls put nutrients in the soil, because our soil is not soil. It's like clay and sand. So here's my morning glories from this side. I do have a little bit of fairy lights in them right now, but not a whole lot. But I just did a ultra fertilizer that I've been making with the chicken poo. So I'm going to take you out to my garden. I'll show you my little plum tree. It's going. So I'm looking into doing hydroponics for all my vegetables. That's the plan anyway. So this year, I spent so much money on soil last year. It's just ridiculous. But if I buy tubs and do a little sprinkler system in it, it'll be so much easier. And I won't have to buy new soil every year and every year. So here's my plum tree. She's already budding. I'm going to have to pull off a lot of these buds because she always overproduces. And she's too young, and she ends up drooping over like a weeping willow. I have to have this to hold it up, because even then it can't support its own weight. So we need to brace her better. So here's our little pit. I put all my old potting soil in it, and I'm kind of turning it into mulch, letting the chickens peck at it. We throw compost in it, but not enough. But we need to do more. But we put our compost there, and the chickens are always turning it and scratching it. In a few years, it might actually be usable soil. So here's the chicken coop and my pomegranate tree over there. So I'm going to take you in the garden here. And as soon as I get in there, all my chickens are going to be right around the outside going, let me in, let me in, let me in, let me in. They're banned. Okay. So right here are my grapes. And we got a little bit of greenery popping up. We got a piece of green right here. I need to finish getting these dead leaves off. But we do have a leaf coming in, so they are coming out of it. We had 2 freezes over the course of the whole winter. Not too bad. Then I got all my little plants down here that are coming out of it. We got my treasure plants and my sweet stuff. And then these are my gladiolas. They haven't come up, but behind it is a type of lily that's coming up. These are my columbines or hollyhock, one of the two. I don't know if that's going to survive. It was basil, but I think the frost killed it. I got rosemaries popping up here, more treasure flowers, and more types of lilies, and so on going that way. These are my primrose. My jasmine that I'm going to put over in the front, that's that. And then I have all sorts of lilies and other things coming up along here. The one in the back is calla lily. We got my onions right here. And then other types of lilies and flowers over here. I have a few more in the middle, but this is what is my perennial, my comeback every year. So my strawberries got decimated by the birds. So hopefully they'll come back. They used to be, both of them used to be full. I don't know if you can see them with the glare. Both of them used to be completely full. My birds were digging them up to get the worms. And then I got a lilac that doesn't like me too much. Over here, I got my hibiscus. She's coming out of it. She actually had a bloom a couple days ago. They only bloom at one time, so gotta wait for it to come back out. And then I got more types of, I think these are Asian lilies. and other sorts of flowers and some mint, and then more there. And that's pretty much it for my perennials. I have a lot of morning glories up front and other trees. But if I'm going to do my hydroponics, what I want to do is just get some tarps and lay tarps all the way out here. Just tarp the whole damn thing. And put buckets and tubs on top. And then we can set the hydroponics that way, hook up a water system to it, because they're like $30 for 200 feet worth with like 100 heads. And I think it'll just be easier. I won't have to rebuy everything every year. So that's the plan. So I'm learning how to make manure tea with the chicken dung. Chicken dung, right? The chicken shit. So we've had buckets and buckets and we collect them all the time. Well, this time when for spring starting, we went ahead and cleaned out our chicken coop, redid all the bedding baskets and all that. So I set up all these buckets that are messed up. I try to set them all up as little mini manure creators. Didn't work out. More of the buckets had holes than I expected, so I ended up with like 3 wet buckets. 3 dry buckets, but wasn't having success. So sorry it had these old trash cans, and this one has a hole in it. So we put the dry stuff in here. So now this is mostly just bedding with a bit of manure mixed in and soaking into the leaves. Kind of keep it covered so that when it rains. And here's my wet. Now I swear it stinks to high heaven, but here's my wet. So today, this was halfway full. I have took it down almost empty, and I've been refilling it back up. I already put another bucket of shit in there. I put more scoops of the bedding in there. I'm going to let that ferment for the next couple of weeks, but I went ahead and gave everybody a drink. Some of them, when I do the hydroponics, I'm not going to want the sludge and the stuff in the chunks. So I practiced doing that, and I probably had 1 full one of this little trash can afterwards. And I did like pictures like this. And what I did is I used one of my cloth planter bags, and I used that as a filter. So I had them set up over here on the dog cage, right here. And I had the bag set up like that with the buckets underneath them. And I just was dumping it in and letting it drip through and drip through and drip through. So I did that over the process of a couple of hours. And then I took the sludge and I put it in, the sludge I had left over, super concentrated. I put one of them in my strawberry that got the most damage, one in my hibiscus, and the other in the jasmine. Then everything else got the second batch. I let it sit for a few hours, and I've come out here and stirred it a bunch of times. So I went ahead and gave everybody else like a third or a fourth of the pitcher full of the juice and a little bit of the sludge in it. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully this works out. The super concentrated stuff that's been sitting for like 2 weeks, I put 75% of it. I probably had about 3 gallons at total, which was about like 1/4 of the garbage can. And then I put most of it on the morning glories, and then the other half on the plum tree, and the other thing on the plum tree. So we'll see how they do. Hopefully it works out. And I took a lot of the extra sludge and I mixed in a bunch more of the bedding, and I put it on my trees that are out front. The ones that like it really warm. So they're going to get like more warmth from it and all that gooey, yummy goodness going into their roots and stuff. So I want to see what you think. This here, I come up with 1,000 different ideas. I have 2 shelves that are very similar. I'm thinking of enclosing the middle piece there between the middle 2, or maybe the bottom and the top, enclosing it and filling it with fertilizer and, soil or whatever. And then I could grow things that like to climb, because it has these top 2 shelves have these wires on it. And that might work. And I've also thought of hooking PVC pipe to it and turning it into its own hydroponic system all by itself. That could work. Or I could go hydroponic again, like with tubs, and just put tubs on the shelves. And then let it be, and maybe hang a light off the top, like a grow light from here. And then the stuff would grow from about here up. Would do the tubs on the bottom. So I've considered that too. we'll see. I have 2 shelves that are very similar. One's being used for storage, and then this one's out here. So I'm not decided everything I'm going to do with it, but I just kind of want to let y'all see. I haven't been able to do much. I've been stuck in my room. Oh my gosh, basically since November. I haven't hardly done any woodworking or anything. I've been too tired. I have no energy whatsoever. But I'll give you another little view of the garden area and all my pretty, pretty green things coming up. Can't wait till the flowers start blooming. That's like the best part. And this is my year 2 with them. And I have some new bulbs to plant too. And then we'll see how those do every year. But here's my pretty hibiscus. She's starting to come out of a... Look, here's her first flower of spring. And then yesterday, we had a storm yesterday. It was a crazy California Bakersfield storm. It rained for like 30 seconds. Hailed for like a minute and a half. Like really, really hard. Tapered off for over the course of the next 2 minutes. And that was the whole thing. Now it's going to hit the Midwest and like cause like tornadoes and crap. People are going to lose electricity and stuff. And we got like not even 5 minutes of total rainfall. But these purple ones here are pretty. Can't remember what they are offhand, but they're pretty. They're the only ones that are really blooming this early. That and the sweet pea, I guess. And our pomegranate's starting to bud too. Once I get morning glories, as we water the outside of it when we water the garden, it always gets a little wet. So once we get morning glories growing on the outside, we should get a lot more privacy. Maybe we can put some razor wire on the top of the fence or something. All right, well, I'm going to let you go. I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.